How to Write in Middle School. The 6th grade persuasive essay. Is owning a pet important for children? Copyright 2017, Luke Sullivan. The Common Core's standards require that 6th graders write with a persuasive writing structure. The goal of this third persuasive writing piece is for 6th grade students to write with clear reasons and relevant evidence and demonstrate an understanding of the topic. The Common Core expects elementary students to organize a persuasive essay as 3 separate paragraphs connected by organizing words. The younger writer chooses relevant ideas, explains them with different words, and provides an example. The writer demonstrates their understanding or their thinking within the paragraph. The structure begins with the strongest big idea paragraph, followed by 2 more big idea paragraphs. Here's an example of what this could look like. A second goal is for students to present information in the early paragraph and then use cause and effect strategies to connect that information in the later paragraphs. The older writer presents information in the early paragraph and then draws connections about the information in the next paragraphs. The structure builds towards the strongest big idea paragraph. Today's prompt. Some people believe owning a pet is important for a child, while others do not. What is involved in owning a pet? What is the effect on the child? And what is the effect on the family? Using specific details and examples to support your position, argue for or against owning a pet. What are the words that signal a persuasive writing structure is needed? Here are some other words that can signal a persuasive structure is required. Children need to talk about the prompt and all the associated ideas. Discussion activates the student's ability to fully develop big idea paragraphs and see the relationships among the ideas. Don't skip or shorten this work. Find situations for the students to talk about the prompt and their ideas. Direct the students' thinking and talking. Ask them to define the idea, describe the idea with senses and behavior, explain how to do it, find examples of the idea. What are the problems associated with the idea? Are there solutions? What are the effects of the idea? Compare it to other ideas. Here's one possible list of ideas. Display or make the work available. The Common Core targets 3 areas of assessment as particularly important: selection, organization, and analysis of relevant content. The older writer must decide on the organization of the essay before selecting which ideas to include. For middle school, the Common Core expects writers to show thinking within the organization of the essay. Instead of 3 separate ideas, the piece is organized as 3 beats, each leading to the next. The older writer presents information in the early paragraph and then draws connections about the information in the next paragraphs. The structure builds towards the strongest big idea paragraph. Look again at the brainstorming work. Identify the thinking strategies for each big idea. You want to identify the ones that present information and put a P next to those. Identify those that draw connections among the ideas and put a C next to those. Use a thinking strategy graphic organizer like Bloom's. Reread the prompt. A good writing prompt should direct the writer's thinking. The prompt is arranged as 3 questions. The student will use the questions as a guide to organize their thinking. Beat 1. What is involved in owning a pet? You'll describe, you'll tell how to, you'll explain, you'll present information. Beat 2. What is the effect on the child? You're using a cause and effect thinking strategy, so you're connecting information. Beat 3. What is the effect on the family? Again, you're using a cause and effect thinking strategy, but you're also comparing and contrasting, and you're making inference. So you're connecting information. Students begin the graphic organizer. Choose the ideas and their associated elements, and then write them in the appropriate sections of the graphic organizer. Write them as phrases and fragments. These will serve as placeholders for the ideas. Students will write full sentences later. Other people have looked at this question. Find out what they have said to help support your claim. Use an online database or search engine to find explanations, details, and examples to support your ideas. An alternative is to provide a set of articles for the students to use. As you read, record the explanations, details, and examples that support your claim. Here is one way to record this information: the name of the article, the author, the site, and the date the article was written. Choose one or two things said by other people. Add phrases to your graphic organizer as reminders to include this information when you write it out. This is the credible support required by the core. Last time you were given a prompt for an essay. Words in the prompt signaled that you were going to write with a persuasive writing structure. You brainstormed ideas with your classmates. You classified the ideas by deciding which ones presented information and which one made connections. You used the information in the prompt to organize your essay. You chose the big ideas and wrote phrases and fragments that you will develop into sentences when you write your essay. Finally, you researched what others have said about the topic to use as a credible source of support in your essay. Today, you'll assemble a first draft. Begin by improving your graphic organizer. This is a representation of the thinking you'll put in your essay. Does your first idea section present information? Do your second and third sections have ideas that connect with the information from the first section? A persuasive essay has a predictable structure. Predictability makes it easier for your reader to understand your writing. The first section is a hip paragraph. It must do three things. First, it must hook the reader's attention. Second, it must lay out the issue. And third, it must push the reader in one direction. It must make a claim. Think of the acronym HIP. Here are 5 common ways of hooking the reader's attention. Ask a question, give an interesting fact, use a quote, make a strong announcement, or a very short anecdote. The next few sentences are where you introduce the topic to the reader and give both sides of the issue. Often, these words can be taken right from the prompt. The last sentence of your opening paragraph is where you make your claim and push the reader towards your choice. The position of this sentence gives it special value in your essay. Write a clear and simple sentence. Again, draw on the words in the prompt to write this sentence. Display a few of the students' paragraphs. Review and explicitly improve the work. Write your first idea in a clear and simple sentence. Use signaling words to indicate that this is the beginning of a set of ideas. Now, under the sentence, write a more detailed explanation of the big idea using different words. Use the phrases and fragment placeholders from your graphic organizer. Your next big idea paragraph makes a cause and effect connection with your first paragraph. So the linking words you use to start your paragraph need to signal this relationship. The rest of the paragraph explains the connection and gives an example. Here are other words that signal a cause and effect relationship. The next paragraph also makes a cause and effect connection with the first paragraph. The first words of the paragraph need to say this is the same kind of relationship. The form of the paragraph remains the same. A big idea developed with an explanation of a few sentences and a specific example. Here are other phrases that signal addition or similarity. The closing paragraph has to do 4 things: signal the end of the essay, restate your opinion, remind the reader of your ideas, and push the reader towards your position. There are 2 common ways of signaling the end of the essay. The first is to use words that signal a conclusion. This also allows you to restate your opinion in the same sentence, the second requirement for a concluding paragraph. The second method to signal a conclusion is to repeat elements from your opening attention grabber. This echo of your opening creates a circle. This signals to your reader that the essay is finishing. The next sentence serves to remind the reader of your 3 ideas. They are only mentioned as phrases, they are not developed as complete ideas. Take them directly from your graphic organizer. The last sentence is a special sentence because it's the last thing you say to your reader. It should push the reader to agree with you. Make an emphatic statement closing the door on your argument. Here are some common techniques for an emphatic statement. You spent your first day gathering and creating all the elements for your essay. You organized your thinking by putting the elements in a graphic organizer for a persuasive structure. The next day was spent assembling the elements into sentences and paragraphs. You wrote using signaling words to organize and connect your big ideas. This last day is for revisions. Revise means to look at again. You'll reread your essay 5 times, each time through a new lens. First read-through. Is your essay focused on your topic? Do your big ideas connect to the topic of children having a pet? You might have to choose a new big idea paragraph. Second read-through. Do you have enough content? Do you have opening and closing paragraphs? Are your 3 big idea paragraphs fully supported with explanations, details, and examples? Add any missing elements. Third read-through. Is your essay organized so that it is easily understood? Do you use the right signaling words to connect your ideas? Did you present information in the early paragraphs and then make connections with that information in your later paragraphs? Fourth read-through. What is your writing style? Do your sentences begin the same way? Do you write with long and short sentences? Do you use dialogue? Do you set the right tone for your audience? Fifth read-through. Do you use standard writing conventions? Complete sentences, fragments, consistent tense, verb agreement, spelling, punctuation. Some people read the essay backwards, 1 sentence at a time, to check for conventions. Good job!